America's Heartland is made possible by
They make up a small part of our population, but have a huge impact on our lives. They take business risks few others would tolerate, all on our behalf. They're American farmers who feed, fuel, and clothe the world. Monsanto would like to recognize them for all they do for the rest of us. Because ultimately, our success and everyone else's depends on theirs.
and by the American Farm Bureau Federation, the voice of agriculture.
I'm Akiba Howard, so tell me, do you have any questions for a young farmer or rancher? Well, city folks like myself have discovered these days social networking can take you right to the source when it comes to answers about agriculture.
Hi, I'm Sarah Gardner. Food from American farms makes its way to your dinner table every day, and we all make choices based upon what tastes good to us. We'll take you inside this Arkansas research facility that's working to develop foods high in protein and pleasing to your palate.
I'm Yolanda Vasquez. We'll take you to rural Virginia this week, where a family farm creates some of the most unique produce you've ever seen or tasted. It's all coming up on America's Heartland.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand. In America's heartland, living close to the land.
Technology has made it very easy to find information on any number of subjects. You got questions about agriculture? Well, some Nebraska farmers have made it very easy to go directly to the source.
Good afternoon. Let's take a look at how these markets finished out for the day. The July
Farm broadcaster Susan Littlefield is surrounded by technology at KZEN Radio in Columbus, Nebraska. That's true whether she's covering ag news in the studio
coming up. You're listening to FarmNet.
or covering ag news at the county fair.
For the folks that don't understand what the Bucket Calf Project is all about, can you kind of explain it to our listeners?
That technology allows Susan to send information well beyond the reach of her radio station's broadcast signal. Susan uses Twitter and Facebook to get the news out well beyond her local community. People looking for real-time information need look no further than their cell phones.
And I think when somebody can open up somebody's Twitter and see a comment, or go to their Facebook and see the pictures of the kids, or see the livestock or the corn growing, we want to know immediately what's happening.
Concise information at your fingertips is the concept behind many social networking and microblogging websites. Susan posts what's happening in her world, and seconds later, her subscribers are accessing her message.
I talk a lot about, what's happening on our farm. I talk about kids getting ready for the fair. It's amazing as I've looked through the list of people that are following me. Some of them are New Jersey, Georgia. I've got folks on the East Coast and West Coast both, so I know that I've got consumers, people that are going to the grocery store, going to their farmer's market to buy those products.
Ryan Weeks is a fifth-generation farmer. He uses social media to help personalize his family's legacy.
The biggest challenge today is making people understand where their food comes from. I just try to give people the real face of what we're doing every day, I think there's always that mentality that farmers plant it just comes up and we wait till harvest. But, we're working year round.
As Ryan toils, technology is also hard at work. His GPS driving program turns his rig with pinpoint precision. It gives Ryan some free moments to check in with the rest of the digital world.
You just flip the steering wheel forward and I check my markets. I get market updates throughout the day on corn, soybeans, wheat, and then I do tweet what we're doing, what I'm doing in the field, what I'm seeing in the field. I tweet while I'm irrigating. I kind of wake up in the morning and come up with my plan for the day, and I kind of tweet that.
Across the heartland, smartphones are becoming farm tools, as indispensable as combines, even in areas with spotty cell service. Marketing specialists like Mike Howie want to mobilize the farmers using those phones.
You know, whether it's Twitter or Facebook or blogs, it gives farmers an opportunity to communicate directly with anyone, anywhere in the world. You know, they can have conversations with people in urban centers. They can have conversations with other farmers. They can have conversations with people in Europe or Asia, wherever they are.
Just searching around on the web. Hold on, just a second here. Let me answer a tweet right now.
That's Brandon Honeycutt, a corn farmer from Giltner, Nebraska, who is glued to his BlackBerry during the long hours in the field. Brandon tweets throughout the day how the crops are faring, weather updates, irrigation schedules, but he also follows other users to find out about ag issues.
A very wide range of folks I follow. I follow some farmers, production folk from here in Nebraska and surrounding states, to Greenpeace, to Humane Society of the United States.
There's one potential problem with having so much information available at the touch of a phone screen. You may have heard about it. Webster's Dictionary named crackberry, the so-called addiction to smartphones, word of the year for 2006.
Yeah, when they joke about, especially a BlackBerry being a crackberry, they're not joking. You know, they've got to remember at times just to put it away. Probably a good thing while at church we don't get very good cell service down there. Otherwise I'd be in real big trouble.
From the family farm to the county fair, social media has planted the seed for consumers wanting information about their food supply.
This social media really changes that. It gives farmers an opportunity to be open and to say, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and this is how we're doing it. And you know, it really opens a lot of eyes.
Communications to and between farmers were one of the first considerations when radio made its debut in the early 20th century. The Department of Agriculture initially set up broadcasts for market reports and weather conditions, but it was the development of commercial radio in the 1920s that brought a closer connection between rural communities and their city cousins.
We all like new taste choices in the foods that make their way from the farm to our dinner table. And discovering what tastes good or what sells well doesn't just happen.
When you cook, you want it to turn out just right. And when you're cooking for a living or developing new food choices, well, it's even more important.
Maybe it's cheese on the crust, so you get that kind of rustic look from the Parmesan.
Creating commercial cuisine is a bit of science and a bit of art. Across the country, food companies focus on transforming heartland commodities into new options for homes and restaurants. Today, it's pizza.
And this one that's coming out next, the customer requests we put cheese in the middle, and then we do a hot sauce post squeeze on top for the spice as well too, so it's a visual cue.
The cuisine development here is going on at the Tyson Foods Discovery Center in Arkansas. 19 test kitchens, a pilot production plant, and consumer test areas, creating culinary choices that hopefully bring restaurant customers back to the product.
And do they come back and order it again? Wow, that was really great. We need to get that again. And so then they can look at repeat performance and in terms of people buying it a second time.
All right, so you guys can try that one.
Creating new food products from Heartland ingredients means developing recipes, cooking procedures, and cuisine presentation. Add to that specific customer demands.
A big part of this whole strategy for this client is to try and use more steak in their pizzas. Steak is a big driver, especially skews male.
These days, the economic realities of cuisine development mean that many restaurants and retailers ask producers like Tyson to take on the initial creation of new foods.
So as they have cut down on their resources, they're more reliant of Tyson to help them with a finished product concept.
A few years ago, would you have thought about having a steak pizza? Well, today we saw a steak pizza with some really different flavor profiles.
So what I wanted to do today is talk to you about grilling, outdoor grilling, and some of the meats that you use.
The foods development here also targets the changing tastes and culinary choices for consumers looking to buy products for their meals at home.
Be that an articulated need, something they specifically ask for, or an unarticulated need, something that our consumer research has told them that they would want and need, but they don't know it yet.
Critical to new products, chefs create concept foods they believe will appeal in appearance and taste, as well as in convenience and affordability.
Whether you're, trying to feed a family of 4 with a limited budget, or you're a fun-loving foodie that wants to splurge on a cruise, or your favorite white tablecloth restaurant in your local neighborhood, we're trying to design products daily to meet the economic needs of our consumers.
Any other secrets that people have to make their meat more tender?
Part of the process includes consumers taking part in focus groups. Sometimes it's questions about tastes and choices. Sometimes it's product sampling. For these meal choices, it even comes down to customer packaging.
What they told us was they want a fresher image, a fresher look. And this tray, overwrap, and pouching system gives a much fresher presentation than what we've had in the past.
But before it makes it to the package, testing will involve samples in pilot production runs to see if it can be consistently replicated.
I just want to make sure that the product looks consistent. There's no breading, adhesion problems. The product looks like that it's meeting the customer specifications.
Changing demographics, changing tastes, and cost considerations all play a role in consumer demands for new food products. Opportunities to take Heartland commodities from farm to fork.
It's all about creating the idea, and once I've got an idea, turning an idea into something tangible, something that I can show consumers and let them taste and eat it and go, boy, this is great.
Chicken really came into its own as a consumer food item in the last half of the 20th century. In 1960, the average American consumed about 28 pounds of chicken a year. By 2001, that number had jumped to nearly 80 pounds a year.
I'm Yolanda Vasquez, still ahead. If you're the kind of consumer who likes unique when it comes to food, then you're going to want to see what one Virginia farm family is turning out.
Ooh, gotcha. I'm John Lobertini, still ahead of family in rural Kansas that's taking an active and entertaining approach to farming. All right, one more.
Hi, I'm Paul Robbins, and here's something you may not have known about agriculture. Do you serve chicken at your house? Eat chicken nuggets when you want some fast food? How about those buffalo wings when you're watching football games? Americans eat a lot of chicken. Chicken Little may have worried about the sky falling, but he should have been worried about ending up on the dinner table.
So which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, Charles Darwin thought that the red jungle fowl of Southeast Asia was the progenitor of all barnyard chickens. And once chickens waddled onto the scene, they quickly became a popular food item. India had chickens 3,000 years ago. Early Greeks raised chickens. The Romans called the birds Gallus domesticus, if you're practicing your Latin. And early Egyptians had incubators capable of hatching 10,000 chicks at a time. And what about those well-known chicken dishes? Well, there are a myriad of stories on chicken a la king. Some say it was invented at New York's Delmonico restaurant in the 1880s. Others point to the Brighton Beach Hotel in New York. Chicken Kiev was invented in Russia. Buffalo wings, which are not made from buffaloes, were invented where else? In Buffalo, New York. Chicken cacciatore comes from Italy, and chicken fried steak has no chicken in it at all. It's thin sliced beef, coated, fried, and served with white gravy, and that's good eating.
There are scientists who claim that the chicken is the closest living relative to the Tyrannosaurus rex. Some breeds of chicken lay colored eggs, and if you're looking for the world's most popular bird, well, look no further than the barnyard, because there's more than one chicken for every living person on Earth.
Are you the kind of consumer who demands something special to lure you into a restaurant, a special dish, or perhaps a way of preparing it? Well, that challenge delivered an opportunity for one Virginia family farm.
That's neat. Yeah, I thought probably I would pick them and throw them to you, and you could.
The rolling hills and grasslands of Virginia produce grain crops, cattle, chickens, and eggs. But travel to Powhatan, and farmers Joe and Rob Pendergraft grow something quite different, fresh herbs with a flavored twist.
Okay, all the share and taste for the day. One more.
Nursery and greenhouse operations are an important part of Virginia's agricultural output. And here at the Mannequin Town Growers, you'll find made-to-order exotic herbs, vegetables, and fruits, all tailored to the demands of local chefs and restaurants.
We just started growing the herbs just out of fascination, and then we realized that we could sell the herbs to other people who had a passion for it. Have a dozen?
Almost. 2, 4, 5.
The small family farm is planted with menus in mind, and everything harvested on the land is picked, packed, and delivered the same day to more than a dozen restaurants. Prepared on site, it's served up fresh. Definitely serious farm-to-fork action.
My wife's sister started working in a high-end restaurant, and the chef was looking for local, fresh herbs. And I'd always had a garden, so I just took some of the basil and oregano and stuff that I had into there, and he was just flabbergasted at how great and fresh it was. And so it just started from there, and it's been growing ever since.
But that was just the beginning. The couple was soon tailoring taste treats by mixing herbal and fruit flavors into one-of-a-kind plants. Pineapple sage, chocolate mint, lemon herbs, garlic chives, and varieties of basil with flavorful names like Spicy Globe and Purple Ruffles. Chefs in the region place orders the night before.
Hey, Todd.
Hey, Joe.
How are y'all doing?
Doing fantastic. What do you got for
Chef Todd Manley plans most of his meals around the farm's very fresh choices, and that includes herbs and spice options once limited to produce from abroad.
She'll grow Vietnamese coriander or Thai basil, you know, different ingredients that instead of having to get it imported from Thailand or Vietnam, you're getting it right out of Powhatan. And it's extremely fresh. You don't ever have to question anything. You know, they're good people, and good people do good things, and that's kind of the way I know that's the way they run their farm.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Joe and Rob started their specialty plantings in 1985. Today they grow some 70 varieties of vegetables, herbs, and fruits.
This is our Zephyr squash. It's a almost like a zucchini, but it is a summer squash, and the blossoms are really popular at the farmers market and with the chefs. You can stuff the squash blossoms with a soft cheese mixture and enclose it, dip it in an egg wash and breadcrumbs, and fry it in hot oil, and it is wonderful.
Many of these ingredients go into the farm's most popular product, a micro salad mix they raise year-round in their greenhouse. As their vegetable choices have increased, their harvests have spread to restaurants across Virginia. Richmond chef Walter Bundy is looking for something different on the menu.
What you got today, man? Dandelion, large, and the baby.
What started out as a way to enjoy working in agriculture has given Joe and Rob a way to reach out to consumers and touch people's lives on a daily basis.
Could have planted a little bit more, maybe. And I think people are really want to connect with the land and get to know the people that are growing their food.
Think you know the top picks for produce in the United States? Potatoes, tomatoes, and lettuce lead the list of popular vegetables. Yes, we know the tomato is scientifically a fruit, but in produce statistics, it functions as a vegetable.
Every day I come here and go, I can't believe I get to do this.
Once upon a time, Exeter, California was like thousands of other small American farm communities. Its economy was heavily dependent on agriculture, in this case, orange, grape, and lemon growers. But like many places, its downtown was slowly dying. That is, until 1996, when locals got an idea. Hire artists like Jenna Botkin to paint large murals on the sides of downtown buildings.
Before the mural project, there were empty buildings, no place to eat out. It was almost desperate. And now there are tons of wonderful restaurants, businesses. It's busy all the time.
That started a process to where now we are working on our 26th mural, all within the downtown area, all within walking distance of this location right here.
Some of the murals portray Exeter's proximity to Sequoia National Park, native wildlife, or other themes, but most capture the region's agricultural roots, orange groves, packing plants, even its historic Emperor Grape Festival. All good for the civic pride, but there's been another unexpected benefit.
Tourism now is the second largest industry within Exeter, obviously agriculture #1, tourism #2. And if you would have asked that in 1996, tourism wouldn't even be on the radar screen.
It's made a huge difference, huge.
Each city needs to find its niche, and for us, Exeter has found its niche.
If you've never spent a day on a farm, you probably don't have a clue about the work it takes to get a crop in and out of the field. Well, one family in Kansas decided to add a little fun to farming and make it educational too. Welcome to Gardner, Kansas, where agriculture and entertainment make up an unusual partnership. This 62-acre piece of Kansas farmland is part pumpkin patch, part playground. Kirk and Julie Bergeron admittedly have a soft spot for the orange orb, but folks here in the Heartland were initially confused.
What kind of nut is this? Why would anyone pay to come to a farm? That's where you work. And then afterwards they thought, you know, that's not such a bad idea.
For years, the Bergerons were a military family, following Papa Kirk all over the country. 8 Air Force jobs in 11 years.
Hey, how are you guys doing? Yeah?
When they got homesick, they wanted to get back to the land, and a pumpkin patch was where they wanted to be. You see, Julie is from Iowa, Kirk a native of Nebraska.
For me, it meant that we were home. So it didn't matter what state we lived in and what city. When we would go out to a pumpkin patch, it was like a trip home for us.
Surely there were already pumpkin patches in Kansas, but not one quite like this. KC Pumpkins features 40 attractions: trains, pedal cars, paintball guns, jumping pillows, and petting zoos.
I think they're hungry, aren't they?
Katie Young has made 15 trips here over the years with her preschool classes. The fun makes teaching a little bit easier.
We usually do the life cycle of the pumpkin, and we show them at, the pumpkin patch where they get to go pick out a pumpkin, and we talk about the different, how it starts from the seed and goes to the flower.
You know, places like this are becoming more and more popular all over the country. A roller coaster ride could take 90 seconds, but a romp here in a hay maze could last a half an hour. It's a cheaper and maybe even more fulfilling day out for families looking for a simpler way of life in a tough economy. Farmers have long diversified to stay profitable, but agri-entertainment is something new, and entertainment is the key word here. You won't find this zip line at an amusement park or anything like, ready for this, a gourd gun.
All right, aim and fire. Very good.
But the pumpkin launcher,
Hey guys, you guys want to shoot the cannon? Yeah! All right.
is the wow factor that brings in the big crowds.
Whenever you're ready, just push that, pull it up, flick it.
Kirk says the family plan seems to be paying off.
I don't know what our numbers are, but we've had to expand the parking lot several times, which is a good problem to have. No. Nice shot.
So what kind would you like? We have green apple and lemon lime.
After 8 years of hard labor in this family business, 19-year-old Taylor swore she'd never return once she left for college. But farming was in her blood.
I ended up coming back and I brought friends too. All right, there you go.
She came home almost every week in October because it is a part of us.
Her brothers pull their weight too.
2, 1.
Jacob and Eli clear the fields and work the attractions.
And when we have a work day, we all come out and work.
2 rabbits. 1, 2.
This is a hands-on day for everyone here, giving kids and their parents a connection to the Heartland.
My kids like to do what other kids like to do. They play the computer, they watch the TV. But this is one thing that they're willing to give that up for.
And the Bergerons echo that connection to the land, family values, and family entertainment.
When people don't have money or at certain times like the Depression, they look for comfort foods, meaning old-time fun, simple stuff, going to dances.
We want people to come and have a great time and feel like they get a good value for their money. Very important to us.
Well, that's going to do it this time. Thanks for traveling the country with us on America's Heartland.
We're always pleased that you can join us. And remember, there's much more in America's Heartland at our website, including video on the stories from today's show. Just log on to americasheartland.org. We'll see you next time right here in America's Heartland.
To order a copy of this broadcast, visit us online or call 1-888-814-3923. The cost is $14.95 plus shipping.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man.
On the outside.
In America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand. In America's heartland, living close to the land.
America's Heartland is made possible by
They make up a small part of our population, but have a huge impact on our lives. They take business risks few others would tolerate, all on our behalf. They're American farmers who feed, fuel, and clothe the world. Monsanto would like to recognize them for all they do for the rest of us. Because ultimately, our success and everyone else's depends on theirs.
and by the American Farm Bureau Federation, the voice of agriculture.